muscles of the mastication. So as a rule, before going to the any part of the discussion and the exploration of the anatomy, we should know the arrangement of the bones in that region. So muscles of the mastication, they are in the middle part of the face. We have done the front of the face. Now we are doing the middle part of the face. So the bone is the norma literalis. So this is the orbit, this is the zygomatic bone, this is the frontal bone, frontozygomatic suture. This is the zygomatic arc, which is formed by the temporal process of the zygomatic bone and zygomatic process of the temporal bone. So these are the maxilla, anterior surface of the maxilla, this is the posterior surface of the maxilla. These are the maxillary teeth. This is the infraorbital foramen. So this is the external acoustic meatus, and around this there are the concentric plates of the tympanic part of the temporal bone. This is the root of the zygomatic arc, and here is the meeting of the zygomatic bone with the temporal process of the zygomatic bone. Here comes the coronal suture. And here comes the pterion. This is the greater wing of sphenoid bone. And here is the squamous part of temporal bone. So temporal bone has got 6 parts. So this is the squamous part, and here are 2 lines, superior and inferior temporal line. They are temporal line, but they are not on the temporal bone. They are on the parietal bone, but they are called superior and the inferior temporal bones. This is the first part of the temporal bone. Second part is the tympanic part. Third part is the zygomatic part. Fourth part is the styloid process. Fifth part is the mastoid process. And sixth part is the petrous part of temporal bone, which is not visible because it lies in the cranial cavity. So this is how you have to make the, whenever a question comes, draw and label the norma literalis. So you should have got the practice how to correctly make it. So make everybody in full page, horizontally, keep the copy horizontally and try to make it. You won't be able to make it first time, but you have to practice for 5 times, 10 times, then it will be thorough. Then below here is the TM joint, the mandible, the condyloid process or the head of the mandible. Below is the neck. Neck is having 4 surfaces: anterior, posterior, lateral and medial surface of the neck of the mandible. Anterior surface has got a notch which is called the pterygoid fovea, and this is the mandibular notch. This is the coronoid process. This is the ramus. The vertical part of the mandible is called ramus, which has got anterior and the posterior border. And the horizontal part of the mandible is called body of the mandible. This is the angle of the mandible where there are 2 angles of the mandible. This is the external, this is the internal angle, where the vertical ramus becomes horizontal body. This is called the inferior border of the mandible, or also popularly known as the base of the mandible. So lower jaw has got the mandibular teeth. the last molar tooth. There is a mental foramen. This is the oblique line on the mandible, on the outer lateral surface of the mandible. There are two pterygoid plates. This is the lateral pterygoid plate and medial pterygoid plate with the posterior bud has got a hammer-like structure which is called pterygoid hamulus. This is the posterior or the infratemporal surface of the maxilla. This is the anterior surface of maxilla. This is the lateral surface. This is the posterior surface. And between the pterygoid plates and the posterior surface of the maxilla, there is a fissure. This is called the pterygomaxillary fissure. So this is how you have to make correctly everything. So the zygomatic arc divides the lateral norma lateralis into two areas. Upper one is called the temporal fossa and below is called the infratemporal fossa, in which the TM joint and all other muscles of the mastication, they are present. So we will take the temporal fossa first of all. So temporal fossa is having the muscle that is called the temporalis. So infratemporal fossa is below the zygomatic arc, and the roof of the infratemporal fossa is formed by the middle cranial fossa, norma basalis of the middle cranial fossa or the cranial cavity with its all emissary foramens. So temporalis muscle is a fan shaped muscle, hand fan, not ceiling fan but the hand fan like muscle. It has got, so whenever the question of the muscle comes, 5 things you should know of every muscle. You have to write down under 5 headings. One is the origin. So temporalis muscle has got the various origins. Number 1 origin is inferior temporal line. Inferior temporal line is the one of the origin of the temporalis muscle. Second is squamous part of temporal bone. Squamous part of the temporal bone. It is called squamous because it is transparent. If you look against the light, you will see that the light is visible through this part of the temporal bone. So the squamous word we have taken from squamous epithelium, means thin, sheet-like, like the onion skin. Squamous word. So the muscle fibers, they take origin from the squamous. And there are 3 types of the muscles of the temporalis. The anterior-most fibers, they are vertical. Anterior fibers, they are vertical. The middle fibers, they are oblique. And the posterior fibers, they are horizontal. So this is how the fan is formed, the hand fan. Anterior vertical, middle oblique, and posterior they are horizontal in position. Third origin is from the temporal fascia. Temporal fascia covers it is attached to the superior temporal line. Underline it. Inferior temporal line is for the muscle origin and superior temporal line is for the temporal fascia, which is covering it and protecting it. So this temporal fascia is the remnant of the bony canal which is formed in the tortoise. In the tortoise there is no temporal fascia. Temporalis muscle is covered by a bone, or in other words, in the lower animals, the temporalis muscle lies in the temporal canal formed by the bone instead of the temporal fascia. So in the humans, it is said to be derived from the bony remnant. So it covers the temporal fascia and the deep surface of the temporal fascia. This is the outer surface. The deep surface also gives the origin of the muscle fibers from the deep surface. So fascia is covering the whole of the muscle. The deep surface of temporal fascia, which is covering it, also gives the origin of the muscle fibers. And superior temporal line is also, we have already done how it is related to the scalp. Superior temporal line, here attached the Galea aponeurotica. Galea aponeurotica is also attached here. So below the Galea aponeurotica is the temporal fascia, which is quite thick fascia. Otherwise, the squamous part of temporal bone is a weak. Squamous means thin. It can be easily fractured in the blow injuries or in the roadside accident, but it is well protected by the Galea aponeurotica plus temporal fascia plus thick temporalis muscle. So they are all measures to protect the thin squamous part of the temporal bone. So this temporal fascia covering the temporalis muscle derived from the remnant of the bone at the upper border of the zygomatic arc. When it comes, it's split into two laminas, two layers. Below, it divided into two layers, which is attached to the medial and the lateral border of the superior surface of the zygomatic arc. It is attached here, zygomatic arc. So this is how these two lines are visible. Inferior temporal line, this is the superior temporal line. So from the superior temporal line, temporal fascia comes, and on the upper border of the zygomatic arc, lateral sensory and medial motor. So this is the main trunk. Main trunk will give the branch one to the medial pterygoid. So this branch will go deeply and it will supply the medial surface of the medial pterygoid because it is nearby, just in front. Plus the same nerve supplies two more muscles, tensor tympani and tensor pallati. So there are three motor branches and only one sensory branch of the main trunk, and that branch goes to the foramen spinosum, and this is called middle meningeal nerve. Middle meningeal nerve, or also called nervus spinosus, because it supplies the dura mater. Middle meningeal nerve, so why meninges? Which meninges? Not arachnoid and pia. Outer one, that is the dura mater supply. That's what its name. Nervus spinosus, because it passes through foramen spinosum. Nervus spinosus is the second name you have to remember. So these are the, you have to remember, three motor and one sensory. They are the branches from main trunk. Then this nerve descend into the infratemporal fossa, and here it divides into two branches, anterior trunk and posterior trunk division. Anterior and posterior division. And the anterior division, again remember, three motor, one sensory. Again four branches are there. Four. All are four. So anterior division, the main thick branch, thickest branch goes to the tongue and supplies the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. And this branch is called lingual nerve. Lingual means tongue. goes to the tongue. When it goes to the tongue, enter from the lateral surface of the tongue. So here it touches the mandible. 1 centimeter below and medial to the last molar tooth. 1 centimeter below and medial to the last molar tooth. Here the lingual nerve touches the mandible. So the dental surgeon, while removing the last molar tooth, should know the relation of the lingual nerve with the last molar tooth. So accidentally he or she may damage the lingual nerve, because this is a sensory nerve, and the sensory nerve will cause loss of half of the tongue sensation will be lost throughout the life. So that patient will abuse that doctor that he has done. So that is the clinical importance. So 7 nerves touches the mandible. Out of the 7, 1 is we are doing. Lingual nerve, where it touches, you should know how to mark on the mandible. In the exam, the viva will ask you the mandible and provide you the chalk, and you have to mention exactly the point where it touches. So that it comes with the practice. Then all the other 3 muscles, deep temporal nerves, they are 2 in number, supplying the temporalis muscle. Nerve to the lateral pterygoid, it supplies, and the nerve to the masseter. So temporalis, lateral pterygoid, and the masseter. So 3 muscles it supplies from anterior part. So it is how it goes to the lateral pterygoid. The masseteric nerve comes from the mandibular notch. Masseteric nerve comes from the mandibular notch and it supplies it. Deep surface of masseter muscle. It goes deep, masseteric nerve. It touches the mandibular notch. Lingual nerve touches this. So this is how you have to do the masseter muscle. Then comes the posterior trunk. The posterior trunk of the mandibular nerve comes downward. It has got opposites. 3 sensory, 1 motor. Remember, 3 sensory. Sensory nerves, they are auriculotemporal nerve. So auriculotemporal nerve supplies the auricle skin of the ear. It is sensory. It supplies the skin of the ear, tragus, and the external acoustic meatus and the tympanic membrane, plus skin covering the temporalis muscle. That's why its name is auriculotemporal nerve. So it arises by 2 roots and supplies the ear enter. Plus it has got a parotid branch which go to the parotid gland. In between these 2 roots, there lies the middle meningeal artery which goes into foramen spinosum. Middle meningeal artery passes between the 2 roots. So middle meningeal artery passes. Middle meningeal nerve, and this is the middle meningeal artery. Third thing passes through the foramen spinosum is the emissary vein. Then this nerve comes downward, and it's one of its branch goes into the mandibular foramen of the mandible, which is present near the bony spicule of the lingula. Lingula. This nerve is called inferior alveolar nerve, or also called dental nerve. because this nerve passes through a mandibular canal present in the ramus as well as in the body of the mandible, and it comes out of the mental foramen. It is called the dental nerve. Whole of the practice of the dental depend upon this inferior alveolar nerve. So this nerve passes through this, and it supplies all the roots of the 8 teeth. It will give 8 branches. After supplying the last lower incisor, this nerve return back, recurrent course. Then it comes out of the mental foramen as the mental nerve. So it is a recurrent course is there after supplying 8 of them. 8 teeth. So it supplies the mental nerve. So this is how we supply the inferior alveolar nerve. One of its the branch, it doesn't enter into the mandibular canal but it remains outside and runs in a groove, the mylohyoid groove. This nerve is called nerve to mylohyoid. This is the only motor nerve supplying the mylohyoid muscle. Sorry, the third branch is the lingual. Lingual nerve is the branch of the posterior trunk. So this lingual nerve, actually it is the branch of posterior trunk of the mandibular nerve. And from the anterior trunk, this only one sensory branch is buccal nerve. Buccal nerve. So buccal nerve comes from the anterior border of the ramus. It touches the anterior border of the ramus here. And what it supplies? Skin covering the buccinator muscle. Skin over the buccinator muscle is supplied by the buccal branch or buccal nerve. So buccal nerve is also the branch of the facial nerve, but that was motor. Now this buccal branch of the anterior division of the mandibular nerve is a sensory. It supplies the skin covering the buccinator muscle plus the mucosa inside. So mucous membrane of the over the buccinator muscle is also supplied by the buccal nerve. So this nerve also again touches the mandible. Where? Anterior border of the ramus. Third nerve, masseter, where it touches mandibular notch. Lingual nerve, medial to the nerves. Then inferior alveolar nerve touches the mandibular foramen. Then nerve to mylohyoid touches the mylohyoid groove. Then auriculotemporal nerve, it touches the neck of the mandible. First it is medial to the neck, then it becomes posterior to the neck. So auriculotemporal. And here it is accompanied by maxillary artery and maxillary vein. All three structures, they are touching the medial surface of the neck of the mandible. Auriculotemporal nerve, maxillary artery and maxillary vein, you have to remember. So this is how we do all the branches of the anterior posterior division of the. So you should know how to draw this diagram. And medial to the main trunk, there lies the 2 to 3 mm size aortic ganglion. Aortic ganglion. Rest we will do 1 o'clock.